Man loves to follow, not to lead. We all know that. How many people do we know that always want to be a part of something? It's not too many people starting their own thing, being who they are truly set out to be. And I ran across something that I wrote from a text over a decade ago. I believe it's from Cheikh Anta Diop. And the excerpt speaks on knowledge of self. It says, for a man to know himself is for him to feel. For him there is no human master. For him nature is his servant, and whatsoever he wills in nature, that shall be his reward. If he will to be a pygmy, a serf, or a slave, that shall be, if he wills it to be, a real man in possession of things common to man, then he shall be his own sovereign. I'm gonna stop right there. Because how many people do we see behaving in a way that's unfit of a man, let alone a king? So you call them, as you see them, rats, snakes, etc., etc., cheaters, liars. I'm gonna continue. When man fails to grasp his authority, he sinks to the level of the lower animals, and whatsoever the real man bids him to do, even as if it were of the lower animals, that much he shall do. If he says go, he goes. If he says come, he comes. By this command, he performs the function of life, even as by a similar command, the mule, the horse, the cow, perform the will of their masters. For the last 400 years, the Negro has been in the position of being commanded, even as the lower animals are controlled. Our race has been without a will, without a purpose of its own, for all this length of time, because that we have developed few men who are able to understand the strenuousness of the age in which we live. Where can we find in this race of ours real men, men of character, men of purpose, men of confidence, men of faith, who really know themselves? I have come across so many weaklings who profess to be leaders in the tents. In the test, I have found them but slaves of a nobler class. They perform the will of their masters without question. To me as a man, has no master but God. Man in his authority is a sovereign Lord. As for the individual man, so of the individual race. This feeling makes man so courageous, so as to make it impossible for his brother to intrude upon his rights. So few of us can understand what it takes to make a man. The man who will never give up, the man who will never depend upon others to do for him what he ought to do for himself. The man who will not blame God, who will not blame nature, who will not blame fate for his condition, but the man who will go out and make conditions to soar himself. Oh, how disgusting life becomes when on every hand you hear people who bear your image and resemblance telling you that they cannot make it, that fate is against them, that they cannot get a chance. If 400 million Negroes, quote unquote, can only get to know themselves, to know that in them is a sovereign power, is an authority that is an absolute, that in the next 24 hours we will have a new race, we will have a nation, an empire, resurrected not from the will of others to see us rise, but from our own determination to rise, irrespective of the world, irrespective of what the world thinks. And that's the end of that excerpt. I take from that, you don't need a Black Lives Matter, nobody dancing in the street, bombing our own stores, to tell people that we deserve what's either coming to us or what we already have. We deserve to keep what's ours and to prosper and thrive. I believe this book was written over 100 years ago too. The excerpt I'm reading from by Cheikh Anta Diop. It's amazing that 100 years ago we was having certain problems, and 100 years later the same problems is going on today. There's got to be what they talking about with generational curses and changing those generational curses. You know, we can't change everybody, but if you can change yourself, if you can make better choices for yourself, that gotta be the first step. I saw a good movie the other day too on HBO Max called One Battle After Another with Tiana Taylor and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's pretty good, by the way. Y'all should go check it out for sure. I can't even get the words out. As long as my back to it though, it don't feel threatening. But if I was to turn around, it's gonna move to the corner and watch. Another day.